Good day, folks. Thank you for joining us here at Your Health. On today's topic, we want to talk about diabetes and managing it the holistic way. Perhaps you or someone you love has just been diagnosed as diabetic and you're searching for ways to help control this condition. Well, you found the right program. We're going to talk about that. Your doctor will manage your medicines, will help you with your lifestyle and dietary supplement measures to help you get this under control. Diabetes management the holistic way, that's our topic. But first, let's go to the news. Let's see what's happening in the health world. Proton pump inhibitor use is associated with kidney failure. Proton pump inhibitor medications, or PPIs, are used for the treatment of heartburn and peptic ulcer disease. They include Prevacid, Prilosec, Nexium, Protonex, and others, and some PPIs are available over the counter. They have, in essence, replaced the H2 antagonist medications such as Tagamet or Zantac for this use. Researchers from Washington University and St. Louis compared the health parameters of over 170,000 PPI users with 20,000 H2 antagonist users over 5 years. They found those who used PPIs were 28% more likely to develop chronic kidney disease and 96% more likely to develop kidney failure. The study was published by the Journal of the American Society of Nephrology. Well, folks, this is bad news for all of those heartburn patients who have grown to rely on these proton pump inhibitors. The daily long-term use of these PPIs increased the risk of chronic kidney disease by about 25% and kidney failure by almost 100%. The study's authors are quick to point out that their study does not prove PPIs cause kidney disease, but rather they can only conclude there's an association. We should also point out that previous research has associated PPI use with dementia, pneumonia, osteoporosis, pseudomembranous colitis from an infection of C. difficile, intestinal dysbiosis, vitamin B12, and magnesium deficiencies. And to make matters even worse, these agents are dependency forming, as about half of those who use them develop rebound stomach hyperacidity when they attempt to stop these well-intended medications. This leaves us with an unanswered question. Should we use these PPIs or abandon them completely? The jury's still out on this question, but I think it's reasonable to use PPIs for short periods of time, say less than 3 or 4 months, but not year after year. The risk of major side effects, well, it's just too great. Increased vitamin C intake from the diet reduces the risk of cataracts. Researchers from King's College London followed 324 pairs of twins over 10 years. They found those who consumed the most vitamin C were at 33% less risk of developing cataracts. Plus, their lenses were clearer at the end of the study. The researchers also found that dietary and environmental factors are more important than genetic factors in developing cataracts. The study was published by the medical journal Ophthalmology. Folks, cataracts are among the most common health conditions associated with aging. Every year, over 3 million cataract surgeries are performed here in the United States, and some 20 million are done worldwide. It is the #1 Medicare surgery in both numbers and cost, and the simple act of including more vitamin C-rich foods or supplementing vitamin C is capable of reducing your risk of cataracts by 1/3 or even more. Risk factors for cataract formation include having a family history of cataracts, advancing age, myopia or nearsightedness, living at high altitude, having a history of cancer and its therapies such as radiation to the head or neck, trauma to the eyes, certain types of infections and skin diseases, tobacco use, and a wide variety of diseases, including diabetes, predisposes to cataract formation. Now, therapies and lifestyle practices that reduce your risk of cataracts include consuming a vitamin C and nutrient-dense plant-based diet, supplementing the diet with vitamins A, C, and E, along with L-carnitine, lutein, zeaxanthin, and bilberry. It's also helpful to wear sunglasses to shield the eyes from cataract-forming ultraviolet light. It is interesting to note, dietary and lifestyle measures play a greater role in causing cataracts than genetics. Loneliness and social isolation may increase the risk of stroke and heart disease. Researchers reviewed all the available evidence with studies involving over 180,000 subjects. They found loneliness and social isolation increased the risk of stroke and heart disease by about 30%. Well, folks, this observational study makes sense. It is not good to remain isolated and lonely. We are social beings that thrive in company and wither with isolation. This study found an increased risk of serious disease, equal to that caused by anxiety or having a stressful job, from just being isolated. When I read through this study, I could not help but think of many in our viewing audience. Many of our regular viewers are retired or disabled, and they stay at home most days, if not all days. My heart goes out to you, and to those who are able-bodied, ask you to reach out to the socially isolated in the community. See, this is not a problem for America's doctors or nurses. It is our problem, and only we can make a difference. Just imagine the inspiration and hopefulness you would bring to someone by dropping in for a visit or taking an elderly person for a drive or even to church for a little social interaction. This simple act could actually save a life. It is that powerful. Well, today on Your Health, we will discuss the holistic approach to managing diabetes. Stay tuned to learn more.
Savings time is here again with our annual cancer-free celebration.
Cindy and I would like to thank you for your continued support of our efforts here at Your Health Television and at BioInnovations.
We understand you must be very careful with your budget, so we're offering you the best prices of the year on many of your favorite supplements for the entire month of May. And shipping is free on all orders over $50 in the continental U.S.
Perhaps you've heard about many of these supplements and wondered if they'd help you. Now's a great time to give them a try.
Dr. Becker's Bionutrients and Noni Natural Skincare are up to 50% off. Aloha, Noni, and Acai are still half price by the case. And many other products you've grown to trust are up to 30% off.
May is a great time to stock up on your favorites.
Order online at bioinnovations.net or call 888-442-2128 and let us assist you in making the right choices for better health. Ask about the AutoShip program for additional savings.
I'm Dr. Richard Becker, and this is Your Health at a Glance. Our health depends on the choices we make every day, and few conditions are as dependent on our choices as diabetes. So here is your daily diabetic checklist. Number 1, take your diet seriously every day. Eat lean protein and leafy vegetables. Number 2, sugars and starches raise blood glucose, so reduce them in your diet. Number 3, check your blood glucose and record the readings every day. Number 4, take your medication daily and don't skip. And number 5, try to exercise every day. It will help you take off weight, which will help your body regulate blood sugar better. If you are diabetic, this is your quick daily checklist that could make life better. For Your Health at a Glance, I'm Dr. Richard Becker.
Do you believe that nature holds the answer to your health needs? Are you looking for a supplement that's simple and pure, yet really works?
If you're looking for nature's answer to better health, look to Aloha Noni Juice. It's pure and fresh, just like nature intended. Aloha Noni Juice is brought to you direct from the islands of Polynesia.
Aloha Noni Juice is 100% pure with no added sugar or sweet fruit fillers. It's the perfect addition to your low-sugar diet.
Aloha Noni Juice drinkers will tell you their vitality, energy, and sense of well-being have improved, along with relief from many painful conditions. Made by nature, proven by science, Aloha Noni Juice contains only nature's best.
And now you can enjoy the benefits of our new 100% certified organic Noni Juice. Order online at bioinnovations.net or call 888-442-2128 and let us assist you in making the right choices for better health. Ask about the AutoShip program for additional savings. Welcome back, everyone. It is such a blessing to be with you today. Today's show is going to be so informative. Sit back, listen, take notes, or get a copy of the DVD. This show is important. We're going to be talking about managing diabetes the holistic way. You know, diabetes is on the rise at higher rates than ever. And this is affecting our children as well. So if you or someone you love has been afflicted with diabetes, this is type 2 we're pretty much talking about. Well, you want to take care of it holistically. You don't want to just take medicine or have to resort to insulin the rest of your life. There's things you can do. We're going to talk all about that today. So Richard, the diabetes numbers are rising.
They are.
They have been for 10 or 15 years, and it doesn't look like they're slowing.
Yeah, There are bad signs on the horizon because the cost to our country and to the individuals of diabetes is astounding. The typical diabetic in today's dollars, it's about $16,000 a year extra expense above somebody who doesn't have diabetes. Man, think of that. That's a nice new car every 3 or 4 years. You know, think of that's a better home you could live in. It's a retirement plan. It's helping the kids through college type stuff. This is big money. It's a huge expense. And that's not even to mention the pain and the suffering. So, you know, sometimes we stick our heads in the sand. We do a lot of this. We humans, we tend to put off our troubles. But it's time that we face this and we deal with it. It's not that bad. I think you'll find it empowering diabetics when you learn that even 70 to 80% of type 2 diabetics can reverse their condition and regain their health. Not everybody can do that, but we can certainly manage it and reduce the complications. So let's get started. Let's get busy. Let's figure out what we're going to do. Well, let's start with what is diabetes. Well, it is a metabolic syndrome that leads to elevated blood glucose levels, and this in turn damages blood vessels and organs and tissues. It's much like putting sugar in the gas tank of a gas-burning car. It damages the engine. The sugar, we're made to have a certain level of glucose, not very high, because we get metabolic byproducts that gum up the works, just like if you do it to a car engine. There are two types, basically, of diabetes. There's actually more than that, but type 1 is the juvenile. It's the no insulin at all. Type 2 diabetes is insulin resistance. There may even be high levels of insulin. Insulin cannot do its job. Of course, there's gestational diabetes as well. But these basic principles of treatment apply to all. They apply to all, but mostly we're referring to type 2, as you mentioned, Cindy. 90% of all diabetics are the type 2. 80% of type 2 diabetes, 4 out of 5, it's a direct result of overeating and weight gain in the majority. 4 out of 5, overeating and weight gain. Of course, we're going to have to reverse that trend to manage the condition. It results from eating too much high fructose corn syrup, sugar of any type of sweet thing, refined starches, pesticide-laced GMO foods, don't discount this, sedentary behavior, and nutrient deficiencies. That is a lot to say, and that's what needs to be reversed. Let's repeat it. High fructose corn syrup, the less you consume of that, the better off you're going to be. Sweet things of any type, whether it's sucrose, maltose, any of these things that are sweet, even honey and maple syrup can affect a diabetic poorly. Refined starches, processed foods, pesticide-laced GMO foods. These pesticides have an effect on us. Sedentary behaviors and nutrient deficiencies, we must counter those. The CDC report 1 in 10 Americans have diabetes, 1 in 10, 1 in 4 seniors. By the year 2050, every third American will be diabetic. Over the last 30 years, we've had an increase of diabetes by 1,000%, 10 times the number. In the next 30 years, we'll have another 1,000% growth. We cannot sustain this. We need to take action. All the medical authorities are asking public medical authorities like us to get this word across and to help people rethink their diets. We can't eat out at fast food every day, folks. We can't have sweet sodas every day. We can't do this. So we're going to have to make some changes. $15,000, $16,000 a year. Diabetes on average shortens life by 10 years. Smoking is 7 years. So it's a bigger insult to your health than smoking tobacco every day of your adult life. It's that serious. Let's take the diabetes quiz. What kind of symptoms do we have with diabetes? You may have changing visual acuity or double vision. One day your vision's good, the next day, it's not so good. You get a new pair of glasses, the new prescription's all set. A week later, they're not working. What's going on? Changing pressure in the eye due to changing blood glucose levels. Excessive thirst, excessive hunger, frequent urination. You're drinking a lot and you're urinating off glucose, and you may be losing weight. You've gained a bunch of weight, then all of a sudden over the last month, I've lost 20 pounds, and I'm not trying, but I'm urinating all the time, and I'm always thirsty. Classic diabetes. Irritability, unexplained fatigue, itchy, pruritic skin, yeast infections, dry and waxy skin, sores and cuts that do not heal, You may see a black velvety rash on the neck or under the armpits, acanthosis nigricans. This is an indicator of diabetes. Not every case of acanthosis is diabetes, but it is an indicator that could be happening in you. There's usually weight gain, elevated blood pressure, sedentary lifestyle practices, triglyceride elevation, this is your metabolic syndrome, loss of mental clarity, pain. A third of all diabetics go to the doctor because their legs hurt, their feet hurt, it's diabetic neuropathy, and they don't even know they're diabetic yet. So they present with pain. I've got this problem, this pain. There may also be a family history. If you have any of these symptoms, you should go in and have your blood glucose checked. Now, what should your blood glucose be? And what is it to be diagnosed as a diabetic? To diagnose diabetes, the fasting, that's no food for 12 hours overnight fast, fasting blood glucose should be over 126. That's your diabetic range. The 2-hour postprandial glucose, you eat a sweet syrupy meal, like a thick soda pop, and 2 hours later the glucose is over 200. That's diabetes. Or even now, hemoglobin A1C, your long-term 3-month average glucose over 6.5, that qualifies as diabetes. If you have been diagnosed as diabetic, our goal is to reduce our blood sugar so that it is never over 200. Diabetics, when your glucose is over 200, you do not heal from the insults of the day, and they add up. Worse, and it can add up so bad that you eventually break all the bones in your feet because you can't feel them. But this only happens when your glucose is over 200 day in, day out, over and over and over. It can never be over 200. Do your best to do that. If it is over 200, it's typically a sign there's an infection, there's stress for some sort, something's wrong. Get some help and figure that out. So our goal is never be over 200. Our before meals should be between 80 and 130 glucose levels, and the 1-hour postprandial less than 180. You know, when you have a meal, the blood glucose will shoot up. That's normal. But our body's processes put it to work, and it should drop down quickly. It should drop down within 2 hours and not stay up at that 200 level. So we want to see after a meal 180 or less. Hemoglobin A1C should be 7 or less, hopefully a little less. And what else? Well, see, what happens if we don't do this? Well, I don't think that's not good. You know, we have this phenomenon, this syndrome, we humans, it's not going to happen to me. It's at its worst when we're young, right? You know, I can get away with this. I can drive the car fast. I don't need to get a good education. I can work in the salt mines and make pretty good money. You know the syndrome. It's not going to happen to me. Well, what happens when we do not manage our diabetes? 2 to 4 times the risk of heart disease, 400% increased risk of heart attack. When you consider every other American dies from cardiovascular disease, there's a pretty good chance you'd be beating the odds if you don't have a cardiovascular disease event in your life with diabetes. 2 to 4 times the risk. High blood pressure, 3 out of 4 diabetics have hypertension. The number one health risk to America is hypertension, and metabolic syndrome, diabetes is a major player in this high blood pressure. Blindness, about 25,000 new cases of blindness, preventable blindness every year in the United States alone due to diabetes. Kidney disease, the number one reason for renal dialysis is diabetes. The second reason is hypertension, and they both go hand in hand, diabetes and hypertension. So kidney disease, renal dialysis, you're waiting for a kidney transplant. That's what we do to help you hold on till you can get a new kidney. You don't want to go through that. Manage your disease. You can dramatically reduce your risk of these problems. Nervous system, 60 to 70% of all diabetics develop neuropathy of their extremities and their nerves, very painful. Amputations, the number one reason for non-traumatic amputations in America is diabetes. That's what happens if you pay no attention to this disease and you just let it run rampant. But we can make a difference. So when we return from these important messages, let's get down to what we can do about it to prevent these terrible things. We'll be right back.
Time
time is here again with our annual cancer-free celebration.
Cindy and I would like to thank you for your continued support of our efforts here at Your Health Television and at BioInnovations.
We understand you must be very careful with your budget, so we're offering you the best prices of the year on many of your favorite supplements for the entire month of May. And shipping is free on all orders over $50 in the continental U.S.
Perhaps you've heard about many of these supplements and wondered if they'd help you. Now's a great time to give them a try.
Dr. Becker's Bionutrients and Noni Natural Skincare are up to 50% off. Aloha, Noni, and Acai are still half price by the case. And many other products you've grown to trust are up to 30% off.
May is a great time to stock up on your favorites.
Order online at bioinnovations.net or call 888-442-2128 and let us assist you in making the right choices for better health. Ask about the AutoShip program for additional savings.
I'm Dr. Richard Becker for Your Health at a Glance. More and more people suffer from asthma. One cause is obvious. The world is a polluted place, and the air we breathe is not always healthy. But other causes of asthma aren't as obvious. Recent research connects a poor quality, high sugar diet and the frequent use of antibiotics to higher rates of asthma and cases of asthma that are tougher to treat. A fast food diet does not meet our nutritional needs. Plus, the indiscriminate use of antibiotics can seriously disturb the delicate balance of healthy microbes in our intestinal tract. So switch to a garden fresh diet that calms and prevents asthma. Eat fruit-like veggies such as tomatoes, cucumbers, and eggplant. Eat yogurt, ginger, turmeric, and take fish oil. Nature holds the answer, but it's up to us to make healthy choices. For Your Health at a Glance, I'm Dr. Richard Becker.
Are you one of the 62 million Americans suffering from gastrointestinal problems? Do you struggle with other chronic conditions? That's why we offer Dr. Becker's Bionutrient Probiotics.
After years of research, we developed a revolutionary probiotic formula with gastrodefense technology. This system protects the good bacteria from stomach acid so the probiotics reach the intestines where they go to work. Additionally, we use live count technology to prolong the shelf life of the probiotics, so there's no need for refrigeration.
Dr. Becker's Bionutrient Probiotics is a powerful combination and one of the most effective formulas available today. And we offer a children's chewable formula too, both at prices you can afford. Order online at bioinnovations.net or call 888-442-2128 and let us assist you in making the right choices for better health. Ask about the AutoShip program for additional savings. That number's 888-442-2128. We're back, everyone, talking about how you can manage diabetes the holistic way. This is so important. And if you have been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, don't fret. There is help. There's things you can do, and that's what it's all about, isn't it? You want to feel better, and you want to be in control of your health yourself. So it doesn't have to be a sentence of misery the rest of your life. That's the good news. So, Richard, we learned about these different things from heart disease all the way to losing your foot. That can happen.
Yes, absolutely.
If you do have untreated diabetes or it's out of control and you can't get it back in control. The worst case scenario, I should say.
Absolutely.
But there are things you can do. So now we're going to turn it to the positive.
Yes, we have multiple studies now that show if we manage our diabetes, we can lessen our risk of these terrible complications of diabetes. We can't prevent them all. I don't want to make you feel bad because many will try their best and do everything possible and they'll still have problems. That's part of life. We're only human. But we can make it better. Absolutely, there's no doubt about it. Multiple studies show diabetes type 2 can be prevented or even reversed in 70 to 80% of the cases with good holistic management with glucose levels in the range that we have discussed. First measure, exercise for 30 minutes every day. This is not an option. It is required. If you want good management, we're going to have to get up and move. This is one of the reasons we've developed diabetes for the majority is that we're too sedentary. We have to move. Use good common sense. You know, if you're sick with something terrible, you don't have to walk with pneumonia, of course. If you can't walk, Get some barbells, something, you know, a few pounds in the hands. They don't have to be very heavy, and move your arms. But just get up and use an exercycle if the knees are bad. Do whatever you have to do, but you have to get up and move, exercise for 30 minutes every day. You're going to sleep better, you're going to have a better control of your glucose, you're going to feel better, you're going to have less pain, and on and on. The benefits are just tremendous. 30 minutes of exercise, that's the minimum. Do more if you can. Stop all the bad habits. Be realistic. Acknowledge our faults. No tobacco, alcohol, drugs of abuse. They're not helping you with this. Eat an organic diet whenever possible. A high fiber, plant-based, low sugar and starch diet. Low sugar and starch. We want to replace more of these calories with healthy oils and meats. Only sugars and starches raise glucose levels. Proteins and oils do not. They will stabilize the glucose, but they will not raise it. Starches and sugars raise glucose levels. Number one reason for diabetes in America is sweet sodas, sweet drinks, diet sodas. Diet sodas, yeah, they cause weight gain. They do. Don't doubt it. And corn syrup and MSG. MSG. You know, I kind of like beef jerky. It's kind of nice. It's nice to have a nice snack. And I went to a store that had like 100 brands of beef jerky. Every single one of them had MSG in it. I complained. It didn't get me MSG-free beef jerky, but you have to look, this MSG, monosodium glutamate. If you want to create a stable of rats, laboratory rats with diabetes, one of the methods is to feed them an MSG-laced diet. They will become diabetic. Think about that for a minute. 5 to 9 servings a day of colorful fruits and vegetables. Make your salads with raw fruits and vegetables. This is important. Put olive oil on it. It's a good thing, this olive oil. Organic fresh meats, fish, fowl, healthy oils, no trans fats. Whole grains are allowed as per your need. If you have celiac disease, obviously you're going to have to limit your gluten. High fiber foods, nuts and seeds plays a big role in managing diabetes, a great snack. Avoid fast foods and prepackaged refined foods. This is where we get in trouble. The traditional approach to diabetes management from a dietary perspective is 3 meals a day and 2 snacks daily. That has been the convention, a steady stream of food so we can keep an even flow of blood glucose. So we're not up and down all the time. That's what we're trying to avoid. But a new study came in from Israel that showed a large breakfast, a medium-large lunch, and then no food the rest of the day led to better management of glucose levels. Now, this needs to be repeated so that we confirm the outcome, but it appears the large breakfast, the medium-large lunch, and then no food the rest of the day, maybe a small snack, a little cottage cheese for dinner, just a little something. That leads to better glucose management than the 3 meals and 2 snacks a day. So keep this in mind. If the traditional 5 meal a day thing isn't working for you and you're always having 200 glucose levels, try the other way. Keep track of your blood glucose levels. Keep track of your food intake so you can get an idea of how you're responding. Another new study. People develop, this is another one from Israel, unique reactions to foods. Now, I might be able to eat tomato and have no elevation of blood glucose levels. Let's pretend both Cindy and I are diabetics. But when Cindy has a tomato, it shoots up to 250. You wouldn't think there's much sugar in a tomato, would you? Some people, and this is they're finding from this study that a lot of people do this, have unique reactions to foods that you would not expect. And the only way for you to understand that that's happening is a diabetic diary. Keep track of your glucose levels and a little note of what we're eating. Doesn't have to be, you know, a big it doesn't have to be a long entry, just basically what we had. And you'll see the pattern emerge. Then we avoid those. Would you rather just avoid the tomato or add another medicine or 2 more medicines? And you know, the second and third line medicines for diabetes are the ones that are fraught with major side effects like heart failure. So we don't want to get into that 3rd and 4th line of medicines for diabetes if we can avoid it. So that's a unique, isn't that something? Who would think that squash or whatever it is would raise your glucose so high that you can't manage it anymore? You know, this is
just
something
unique to that person.
And I think it's an immune-based reaction. That's my suspicion, but we'll get more research on that and we'll of course let you know. Now let's start with our supplement list. What can we do? I also want to, before we get to our supplements, Foundations for Healing is a great book. It has a chapter on the diabetes. It has an appropriate diet. We have other books that can help you with your choices in diabetes, some great information from very knowledgeable authors. PhD, MD type people, DOs who have extensive research and endocrinology experience. They know what they're talking about. This is the kind of thing that we want to help you with, to help you understand. Let's get started on our supplements before our break. If I could only take one dietary supplement in diabetes, it would be alpha-lipoic acid. Alpha-lipoic acid. It improves glucose metabolism by helping insulin do its job. It improves the function of 4 different enzymes, 2 that metabolize glucose, 1 that metabolizes an amino acid, and another that helps to make DNA. It's a conditionally essential nutrient, meaning normally we make it for ourselves, but with disease and age, we become compromised in our ability, and supplementing it can be very helpful. Diabetics typically do not make enough, making it an important nutrient to supplement for the diabetic. It is a biphasic antioxidant. It goes into fats and into water. It prevents and reverses these glycation end products. You know, we said that the elevated glucose levels damages tissues, like putting sugar into the gas tank of a car. Alpha-lipoic acid helps to prevent that from happening, helps to clean up that mess. It protects the nerves. It protects the mitochondria, where the failure to metabolize glucose is happening. Alpha-lipoic acid, it's also used for those painful nerves, and we want to talk about that when we return. We'll be right back.
Time is here again with our annual cancer-free celebration.
Cindy and I would like to thank you for your continued support of our efforts here at Your Health Television and at BioInnovations.
We understand you must be very careful with your budget, so we're offering you the best prices of the year on many of your favorite supplements for the entire month of May. And shipping is free on all orders over $50 in the continental U.S.
Perhaps you've heard about many of these supplements and wondered if they'd help you. Now's a great time to give them a try.
Dr. Becker's Bionutrients and Noni Natural Skincare are up to 50% off. Aloha, Noni, and Acai are still half price by the case. And many other products you've grown to trust are up to 30% off.
May is a great time to stock up on your favorites.
Order online at bioinnovations.net or call 888-442-2128 and let us assist you in making the right choices for better health. Ask about the AutoShip program for additional savings.
I'm Dr. Becker, and this is Your Health at a Glance. Are you one of the millions of Americans who are at risk for heart problems? If your diet is like the average American's, you're getting far more sodium than your body needs, and this may create serious problems for your heart. A new study from the Netherlands showed that a diet high in salt not only increases blood pressure to dangerous levels, it also causes damage to your blood vessels. To avoid these problems, you need to avoid foods that are high in salt, such as preserved and prepared foods like frozen dinners, canned soups and other canned foods, cured meats such as lunch meat, hot dogs, bacon and sausage, condiments and sauces such as soy sauce, teriyaki sauce, and spaghetti sauce, and snack foods such as salted nuts, pretzels, and chips. Eat fresh fruits and vegetables, fresh meats, poultry, fish, and other salt-free alternatives. As you decrease your intake of salt, your desire for salty foods will eventually be reduced. For Your Health at a Glance, I'm Dr. Becker. Is your life out of balance? It may be. The average American consumes far too many omega-6s and not enough omega-3s. This creates an imbalance.
So what can we do to get back in balance? We can eat a healthy diet.
And most of us need to supplement with omega-3 rich fish oil. Fish oil contains omega-3s with DHA and EPA, fatty acids that promote good brain and heart health. So reduce omega-6 in your nutritional plan and boost omega-3 to get back in balance.
To help you do that, BioInnovations offers 2 products, the Fish Oil Complex and Omega 369, both formulated for your health and well-being. So how do you choose? For highest levels of DHA and EPA, choose the Fish Oil Complex. For a balanced formula, choose the 369. Go online at bioinnovations.net or call 888-442-2128. Ask about the AutoShip program for additional savings. Welcome back, everyone. We're having a great discussion on how you can take care of and manage your diabetes the holistic way. This is great information. And to help you, I've got to let you know, it is May's celebration at BioInnovations and a great celebration time we're having. You all know the drill. This is just great. We're able to bring you the best prices of the entire season and free shipping on orders over $50. Of course, that's the mainland USA, but I don't want you to miss it. This is so important and a great time of year that you can celebrate with us. And you might say, well, what's May celebration all about? People often will ask me, well, why is May such an important month? Well, May is fantastic to us because this is our health education month to celebrate life. We're celebrating life because this is the month that Richard was pronounced cancer-free back in the day when he was suffering from cancer.
Yep.
I mean, every year, Richard, every day is a blessing, is it not? Every day is a blessing.
It sure is.
But especially this month, we give thanks.
Yeah, and folks, as a little motivation for you, you know, I think back to those times and how sick I was and how poor I felt and the desperate situation our family was in and how much better it is now. And you can recover. You can. There's hope, and there are measures you can use that make a difference. No matter what the health condition, we can make a difference.
Well, and the same goes for diabetes, Richard.
Absolutely.
Now, I know that, that 70 to 80% that can actually reverse or really get better, that's a huge number.
It is. It's the vast majority.
Really big.
It's
That's right.
the clear majority. We can do better.
So we've talked about lifestyle, we've talked about diet, which is really important. Now we're talking about the supplements, and the supplements really do work for the diabetic.
They do. We spend a whole hour talking about the benefits of alpha-lipoic acid. Today it's just a few minutes. I do want to emphasize that it is used as an agent to help reverse, to help calm the pain of diabetic neuropathy, the painful feet, the hands, the gastroparesis. You know, it can affect even the nerves to the heart can be affected with diabetes. All of that can be helped for most people with alpha-lipoic acid. Doses of 300 milligram a day, 600, 900, 1200, 800, it's all been studied and they are all helpful. What I would recommend is taking a little higher dose, 1200 milligrams a day till you start feeling better. Typically about 3 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks, you start to feel better, and then reduce the dose to the least to keep maintaining the benefit. In summary, alpha-lipoic acid improves glucose control. You may need less insulin and less medication to control glucose because alpha-lipoic will help bring it down. It reduces the risk of cardiovascular disease and diabetes complications, and it reverses, at least helps the pain. And there is some indication it does reverse, to some degree at least, the diabetic neuropathy for the majority. The next on our list of supplements, chromium picolinate. Chromium is a trace mineral. We don't need much of it, but when we are low in it, and the typical American has a level of chromium 40% lower than optimal, we do not process glucose as efficiently. So chromium helps insulin do its job again. Basically the same concept. Chromium picolinate is the best absorbed form of chromium. It is low in most diabetics. Multiple studies, at least 15, and that number is growing, shows that chromium lowers fasting blood glucose levels. Glucose after a meal will come down. Fasting insulin levels, because we have insulin resistance that's too high in type 2 diabetes. Your insulin levels after a meal will begin to come down, your hemoglobin A1C will come down, and your insulin sensitivity will improve. All the measures of glucose control improve. And a recent study showed that it may ease your cravings and hunger and appetite, which is a huge problem in diet. If you're hungry all the time, boy, it's sure hard to say no, isn't it? This is nutrient deficiency, folks. If you're constantly craving, you need essential nutrients. Keep that in mind. Chromium picolinate. Next is glucomannan fiber, a soluble fiber. Basically what soluble fibers do is they inhibit the enzyme in the intestinal wall that grabs onto glucose and other sugary sweet things and pulls it into the bloodstream. It doesn't stop it completely, it slows it down so your body has time to process the glucose appropriately. So we don't have a glucose over 200. Remember, we're trying to avoid that at all costs. So soluble fibers, glucomannan. It's soluble because when you put it in water, it dissolves. It creates a slurry. It's like putting a dozen apples cut up into a pan and cooking them. You get this gooey slurry to it. That's the soluble fiber, and we can supplement that type of thing. We do that with glucomannan fiber. A couple grams a day increases dietary satisfaction. It helps to lose weight. Studies have shown this. Multiple studies. Loses weight, lowers cholesterol, lowers glucose levels. Glucomannan, there's no side effects. The side effect is a good one. You become more regular. That's a good thing for the diabetic. Grapeseed complex, products of the grape, resveratrol, grapeseed this stuff is amazing. Polyphenolic antioxidants of the grape. Creates a metabolic profile of a thin person in an obese person. It stimulates the SIRTA genes. It activates your genetic system, and it turns on the genes of thinness and longevity. This is true. Studies take overweight men, overweight women. They're eating a high-fat, high-sugary diet. Put them on grapeseed extract. Their metabolism reflects that of a thin person within a month. Really? That's almost hard to believe. Well, it's true. It's true. Grapeseed extract. Multiple studies have shown this. It also helps to prevent the damage of diabetes to the blood vessels. This is such a huge thing. This is how I remember grapeseed extract and resveratrol, the blood vessel remedy. Whether it's hemorrhoids, peripheral vascular disease, phlebitis, diabetes, whatever effect on the blood vessel, all these terrible diseases, number one cause of death is vascular disease. Grapeseed extract, resveratrol help with the capillaries, helps the blood vessel health, and it does so in diabetes as well. So grapeseed extract, it's just phenomenal. Plus, remember resveratrol is a phytoalexin. It has powerful anti-yeast and anti-candida properties, so it helps keep the yeast out of your system, which we'll talk about when we return. For centuries, the herb Astragalus has been a staple of traditional Chinese medicine. It's used to create a strong shield, protecting the immune system.
Astragalus is also used to support healthy heart and lung function.
There's even more. Astragalus helps to calm total body inflammation, a common cause of pain and chronic illness.
All of that without the use of medication.
That's right. Support your health the way nature intended with Astragalus root.
BioInnovations brings you Dr. Becker's Bionutrients Astragalus Root Extract. BioInnovations is the affordable source that you can trust for all your vitamin and supplement needs. Give us a call at 888-442-2128 or order online at bioinnovations.net and see what Astragalus can do for your health. That number once again is 888-442-2128. Ask about the AutoShip program for additional savings. Call today.
Here is our hope for you today. I'm Cindy Becker. When we struggle with disease and painful health conditions, we can become overwhelmed with negative thoughts. We may even develop depression. The Apostle Paul offered guidelines to help us preserve a positive attitude during times of trouble. He wrote in Philippians 4, verse 8, "Whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things." Thinking positive thoughts is the first step toward overcoming worry, even depression. Proverbs 17, verse 22 reminds us, "A cheerful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones." Remember these words of wisdom as you face your health challenges. I'm Cindy Becker. This is our hope for you today. May Savings Time is here again with our annual cancer-free celebration.
Cindy and I would like to thank you for your continued support of our efforts here at Your Health Television and at BioInnovations.
We understand you must be very careful with your budget, so we're offering you the best prices of the year on many of your favorite supplements for the entire month of May. And shipping is free on all orders over $50 in the continental U.S.
Perhaps you've heard about many of these supplements and wondered if they'd help you. Now's a great time to Give them a try.
Dr. Becker's Bionutrients and Noni Natural Skincare are up to 50% off. Aloha, Noni, and Acai are still half price by the case. And many other products you've grown to trust are up to 30% off.
May is a great time to stock up on your favorites.
Order online at bioinnovations.net or call 888-442-2128 and let us assist you in making the right choices for better health. Ask about the AutoShip program for additional savings.
We're back, everyone. I've got to get you a little reminder out here. It is May Savings Celebration at Bioinnovations. Best prices of the season and free shipping on orders over $50. Of course, that's in the mainland USA, but a great time to get the supplements you need to stay healthy. Well, these supplements that we're going through for the diabetic are really amazing, and we get calls every day. How they help change their life, how they make them feel better. I want you to be able to take advantage of that too. So, Richard, the next one is the sunshine vitamin.
Oh my, yes.
And this one, I can't think of a health condition that we talk about that this nutrient doesn't come into play.
Yes, you know, we're a nation of people with low vitamin D levels, and it's one of the reasons why we have so much diabetes. Vitamin D helps to control the entire metabolic cascade. And when we're low in it, it's very easy to become diabetic, plus the sedentary behavior. You know, it's hand in hand. If we're sedentary, we're not out in the sun, are we? We're not out getting exercise like we should. So low vitamin D, we've got to correct it. Get your level checked. This is becoming mainstream now. I'm so happy to hear this. People tell me, I went to the doctor and they checked my vitamin D level. Can you believe it? The mainstream doctors are on board with vitamin D. This is a good thing. When you have low vitamin D, get this, folks, you have decreased insulin sensitivity and increased insulin resistance. It's going to make your blood sugar go up. You're going to have more chronic pain. You're going to have more infections. This is all from studies now. More retinopathy, more thyroid autoimmune disease, more obesity, more hypertension, and more vascular disease. It also is associated, a low vitamin D level, with rapidly progressive diabetes and its complications. If you want to reverse those terrible trends, we take vitamin D and do the things we're talking about. Our goal is to have a vitamin D blood level between 50 and 70 nanograms per deciliter. And that will take between 4,000 and 10,000 international units of vitamin D3 a day. But some people have uniquely high reactions. They take a small amount and it goes pretty high. Or they have to take a lot and it still stays low. So the best way is to dictate your dose based on your blood levels. But typically it's 4,000 to 10,000 international units a day. Get your vitamin D level up. The antioxidants. When we are diabetic, it overwhelms our innate antioxidant pathways that our body does for us. This is why we urge people to take antioxidants in case we are overwhelming our system. Things like the carotenoid complex, lutein, lycopene, astaxanthin, zeaxanthin protect the eyes. Bilberry, the eyes. You don't want retinopathy. You want to do everything possible to keep your sight. Acai, goji, mangosteen. We mentioned grapeseed and resveratrol. Curcumin, turmeric. The spice turmeric and curcumin, cherry fruit extract, especially if you have gout. Diabetes and gout go hand in hand. Cranberry, if you're troubled with urinary tract infections, which is common in diabetes. Ginkgo for your clarity. Vitamin C, vitamin E, vitamin A. These are all the antioxidants. Cycle through them. Take 2 at a time. Find the ones that help you the most. And we do shows, we do programs on each and every one of these so you can learn more and more about them. But at least that carotenoid complex to protect the eyes. It's not just the eyes, it's the entire body it helps. Next, probiotics and anti-yeast measures. I'm going to make a bold statement, and you might find it contentious, but I found it to be true. Prove me wrong. Every diabetic that I've ever met who's out of control with their glucose control has a yeast problem. They're overwhelmed with candida. They have one infection after another. It can even get in their eyes. They can get fungus in their eyes. Throughout their intestinal tract, their mouth, it's just the urogenital tract. It's a mess. We've got to get the yeast under control. It's hand in hand. When the yeast comes under control, the glucose comes under control. When the glucose comes under control, the yeast comes under control. It has a synergy. It feeds itself. So we've got to get it under control. Things that help. Oh my goodness. Olive leaf. Oil of oregano, caprylic acid, curcumin, mangosteen, goji, royal jelly, the beta-glucans, the medicinal mushrooms, garlic. We have a whole list of anti-yeast measures and anti-dysbiosis measures. This is critically important. Some of the most progressive research in the last 10 years has associated the dysbiotic intestinal flora of the diabetic. They've learned so much about that. If you're diabetic, your gut flora is off. It's just established nowadays, and so we've got to get it back into alignment. It goes with good control. It's worth doing. You're going to feel better too. Next is the omegas 3, 6, 9 fish oil complex. Use olive oil, walnut oil, grapeseed oil, hazelnut oil for cooking. Replace glucose, sugars, starches with these healthy oils. It's soothing, calming. It doesn't cause heart disease like we were told. Sugar is causing heart disease. These are healthy things. These are God-given foods. I think of them as lubricating. I always go to the guy analogy. You know, I'm always mechanical. I think of farm equipment and cars and trucks and this type of thing. You got to lubricate the joints of these cars and trucks and heavy equipment, guys. You know that. Our bodies are very similar, and the oils do that, and they provide us energy without raising our blood sugar level. That's the huge benefit of it. So don't forget your omega-3s, 6s, and 9s. Take that fish oil complex for heart health. Noni juice, the Polynesian remedy for diabetes, is noni juice. It actually lowers insulin resistance, and it helps with pain. A couple ounces a day, boy, it really helps with regularity as well. Milk thistle. Everyone knows the pancreas is involved in blood sugar control because it makes insulin, right? The liver is equally involved. And with diabetes, we tend to get in fatty infiltrations into the liver. It becomes inflamed. This can lead to cirrhosis if we don't check this. Milk thistle helps to correct liver function, and it improves all measures of glucose control, much like chromium. Milk thistle is outstanding for the diabetic. And then the cultural herb, the Ayurvedic fenugreek. India, this is a mainstay of treatment in India. Check out fenugreek. We have a program just on fenugreek. It's an amazing substance, 600 or so milligrams, 2 or 3 times a day with meals. It helps to bring that glucose down. Let's go to our break. We have just a couple more measures to do, and we'll do that in our wrap-up as soon as we come back.
Savings time is here again with our annual cancer-free celebration.
Cindy and I would like to thank you for your continued support of our efforts here at Your Health Television and at BioInnovations.
We understand you must be very careful with your budget, so we're offering you the best prices of the year on many of your favorite supplements for the entire month of May. And shipping is free on all orders over $50 in the continental U.S.
Perhaps you've heard about many of these supplements and wondered if they'd help you. Now's a great time to give them a try.
Dr. Becker's Bionutrients and Noni Natural Skincare are up to 50% off. Aloha Noni and Acai are still half price by the case. And many other products you've grown to trust are up to 30% off.
May is a great time to stock up on your favorites.
Order online at bioinnovations.net or call 888-442-2128 and let us assist you in making the right choices for better health. Ask about the AutoShip program for additional savings.
I'm Dr. Richard Becker for Your Health at a Glance. Does acid reflux keep you hooked on antacids? If so, you may be suffering from GERD, which stands for gastroesophageal reflux disease. GERD affects at least 20% of the adult population. In fact, Americans spend hundreds of millions of dollars per year on medicines to treat GERD. This is unfortunate because these medications have side effects. They can cause additional digestive problems, and they lead to nutrient deficiencies, such as the depletion of vitamin B12. Fortunately, there are simple lifestyle changes that can reduce the symptoms of GERD. Avoid lying down or exercising within 2 hours of eating. Lose weight because obesity worsens symptoms. Limit foods that cause GERD, such as fried, fatty foods, mints, chocolate, and caffeine. To improve digestion, eat a diet rich in fiber, yogurt, and drink lots of water. For Your Health at a Glance, I'm Dr. Richard Becker. Every day, about 200 million Americans do not get enough of a key essential mineral.
That mineral is magnesium. The typical American diet does not supply enough.
And magnesium is so important. It protects bones and helps more than 300 different enzymes in the human body perform efficiently.
That's why BioInnovations offers chelated magnesium capsules for oral use and topical magnesium gel to be applied to the skin. That's 2 forms of magnesium to meet your daily needs.
Scientific evidence points to chelation as the best method of vitamin and mineral formulation.
Order online at bioinnovations.net or call 888-442-2128 and let us assist you in making the right choices for better health.
Because chances are you are one of the 200 million Americans who need more magnesium every day.
Again, that number is 888-442-2128. Call today. Ask about the AutoShip program for additional savings. Your Health is brought to you by BioInnovations, trusted products for your health and well-being.
We're back, everyone, having a great time today learning about diabetes and how to manage your diabetes the natural way. We have a few more supplements to go through, so let's get right to them. So, Richard, what's next on our list?
We just mentioned fenugreek. Next is cinnamon. And no, cinnamon on a cinnamon roll is not what we're talking about. It is taking cinnamon as a medicinal herb. We have multiple research projects now that show cinnamon lowers glucose levels, and it's a powerful antioxidant that combats this glycation, the gumming up, the damages done by diabetes. Cinnamon, it's really interesting. You know, make a little tea, put a cinnamon stick in it. You can also get cinnamon in a capsule form. You can do it in a teaspoon form and use, you know, here in America we associate cinnamon with apple pie and whatnot, and cinnamon rolls, etc. Put a little cinnamon on your vegetables and steam them. You'll be just amazed how delicious it is. It really is nice. Cinnamon for diabetes. Multiple vitamin and mineral. This is an absolute. Diabetics, I want to just give you one example. You discharge, you burn up 10 to 15 times the thiamine that I do. I'm not diabetic. I have my own unique health challenges. So far, it's not diabetes. 10 to 15 times the thiamine you need. How are you going to do that if you're not taking a good B complex, something with a boost of B vitamin to it? That's just one of them, thiamine. So diabetics, you need a good quality, high potency, multiple vitamin and mineral. Medicinal mushrooms, maitake, reishi, shiitake, ABM. Many diabetics are placed on statin lipid-lowering drugs. I wish you would explore the world of the medicinal mushroom, beta-glucans. It is so amazing what they can do for glucose levels and for cholesterol. It brings it down with health benefits, not the negative. You know, statins are associated with increased risk of diabetes. How many American diabetics are that way because they're taking a statin? Well, we'll never know because the drug companies don't want you to know. And that's an expensive thing to figure out. But think about these medicinal mushrooms. They lower cholesterol, they help you manage it, and they keep your immune function up. Cordyceps sinensis. This is another medicinal mushroom that helps you make energy. You know, diabetes at times can make you feel washed out, loss of energy. I have no desire. Doctor says I need to walk, but it's the worst thing. I don't want to. Cordyceps sinensis turns the liver's production of ATP on. It gives you the source of energy you need to get up and get moving, so that half an hour of exercise a day, you can get it in because it's essential to managing your diabetes. Also, it helps with your immune response, keep the infections down. So this is our overview. Now, it's going to be hard for you to take all of these all at once. You don't want to do it that way. Start with the basics. Start with the new change of life and diet and the exercise and the way you eat. Add the multiple vitamin, add the alpha-lipoic acid, choose another antioxidant, and add a little as you go. Figure it out as you go. Keep track of your diet. Write down your blood glucose levels so you can correlate to see if you're reacting abnormally to foods. You get a lot of feedback with this diabetic diet. It's so helpful, and it will help your doctors and nurses better treat you. We want to keep you off the newer medicines, if possible. If possible, do what you have to do to get your glucoses under control, because that is the key to success. Long-term control leads to long-term reduction of complications. It's been shown in study after study now. It's worth it. Plus, you're going to feel better tomorrow than you did today. And really, that's its own reward. Once you start feeling better, then managing diabetes isn't that hard. It's a new way of life that pays dividends. Thank you for your kind attention, folks. We'll see you tomorrow here at Your Health.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Did you know lifestyle diseases are a $2 trillion economic burden annually? Benjamin Franklin once said, "An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure." Don't wait for a diagnosis, disease, or other ailment to surprise you. Eat an apple, take a walk, give a hug. Take positive preventive steps towards a healthier lifestyle, and you'll experience vitality every day. It's not crazy, just healthy.
Hello, friends. Awake America 2020 is one of the most important presentations that Jack Nimpe Presents has ever done, because it deals with so many events in the world that deal with what the Bible refers to just before the Lord returns. And